Fakes, puts it up for the win. It's good.
3rd and 1. Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, touchdown, Green Bay.
Flag in the air in a deep left field. Back goes Kubo for a look, and it's out of here. David Wright gives the Mets the lead with his 13th home run of the year.
Diving stop, David Wright has won 2 Gold Gloves. Not a good throw, though.
Joe and John, why do the Mets still stink?
For the record, have you ever used steroids, human growth hormone, or any other performance-enhancing substance?
No.
Little league in New York, the third baseman, number 13, Alex Rodriguez.
Sanchez gets hit, the ball is loose, and it's alive. And then going into the end zone is Steve Gregory.
As a professional quarterback, I know there's nothing more embarrassing than running into the ass of a 300-pound lineman.
Brady's back. Brady's under pressure. Brady's chased. Brady heaves one down the middle of the field into the end zone. A jump ball, and it's incomplete. And the ball game's over. And the Giants have won Super Bowl 46.
This is Sports Central with Joe D and John Franchini on WICR.
It's Wednesday night, so that can only mean one thing. Sports Central is finally back. Joe D here alongside with the one and only franchise, John Franchini. John, how you feeling?
A lot better, Joe. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better, too. I know everyone missed us last week. We were both feeling under the weather, but now we regrouped. We're feeling great. Another good show ahead of us, right, John?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And we're going to jump right into what we got today. NFL schedule being released in about...
Season never ends.
The season never ends. The draft is just a few weeks away. Actually, what is it? 2 weeks away?
May 8th.
Yeah, just a few weeks away. The schedule comes out within the next half hour. Except we got some news according to a leak copy of the Giants' schedule read on WFAN this afternoon and published by CBS. The Giants' regular season schedule is as follows. Week 1, Monday night, September 8th at Detroit. Week 2 against the Arizona Cardinals. Week 3, the Houston Texans. Week 4, Thursday night, September 25th at Washington. Week 5, October 5th, the Atlanta Falcons. Week 6, October 12th at Philadelphia. Week 7 at Dallas. Week 8 comes the bye. Right off of that bye, Week 9, Monday night, November 3rd against the Indianapolis Colts. Week 10 at Seattle. Week 11, home against the 49ers.
Ooh, tough 3-game stretch.
Week 12, it gets tougher. Week 12 against the Dallas Cowboys. Week 13 at Jacksonville. 14 at Tennessee. 15 at home against Washington. 16 at St. Louis. And to wrap the season off in Week 17 against the Eagles at MetLife Stadium.
All right, well, those 3 games off the bye sound really tough for the Giants.
Now, I'm presuming that this is the actual schedule that whoever got the leaked copy is correct.
I mean,
that should be correct.
I don't think they wouldn't have read it off if it wasn't true.
Exactly, and what I get out of this schedule is we'll find out who the Giants really are between weeks 5 and 12, starting with Atlanta, because despite
Atlanta, I mean,
listen, Atlanta had a terrible year last year. Atlanta's not that bad of a team.
They weren't healthy.
Injuries,
Jones and White.
Exactly, injuries played a detrimental role for that Atlanta Falcon team. There's no way they're close to being as bad as they were last year, so expect a competitive matchup for sure against the Giants.
Exactly, and coming off the bye, usually history shows that the Giants are a terrible team coming off the bye, so that really sticks out to me as far as scheduling is concerned. Them facing, what was it, San Francisco, Indianapolis, and what was the third team?
The Seahawks.
It's defending champions.
Yeah,
Seahawks.
in order. I mean, yeah.
So, I mean, if the Giants keep up their losing ways after the bye, those 3 games are going to be very tough for them.
Like I said, starting back at week 5, in the 5th week against the Falcons, that'll give you a challenge. Every divisional game is a challenge, no matter what year. So, right after you play the Falcons, you're playing at Philly and then at Dallas.
Tough.
2 tough games, then, like you said, we have the bye. Come back from the bye, Colts, Seahawks, 49ers, and Cowboys again.
Well, this is what the Giants have been preparing for.
I mean,
they made all these moves in the offseason, so you got to have confidence in this team. I have confidence. I mean, Giants are a good team.
You have confidence, but you see this 7-game stretch. What are you feeling now? You're still
obviously,
feeling
I'm a
as
little-
confident in this 7-game stretch? I mean, this is prime of the season. If you don't, this part of your season will determine your postseason fate for sure.
I'll tell you what. I think that the Giants' new defense, as far as their new secondary goes and their new linebackers that they've acquired, I think they've been preparing for the Eagles' defense as far as that goes. Eagles' offense, excuse me, as far as that goes. And the Eagles did lose Deshaun Jackson, which hurts them a lot. Then you go into, what was it, Dallas? Dallas, you never know what you're going to get.
You don't know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get with Dallas as far as Romo goes. And Des Bryant can have a meltdown in the middle of the game. He can just not want to play anymore. He can dog it. And then you go into the bye. Then after the bye, you got the Colts. And now, what do you think of the Colts? The Colts are... See, the thing about Indianapolis is they're an upcoming team. I don't think they've established themselves as an elite team in the league right now. I think they're a good upcoming team who can definitely beat the Giants. But their defense doesn't really scare me. I think the Giants can win that game.
I think the Colts are another playmaker, offensive playmaker away.
Really offensive.
An offensive.
I think the defensive.
An offensive playmaker away from being a top offense in the NFL. Saying, you have your Reggie Wayne, but he's not going to be there forever, and he's coming off ACL. They bring in Hakeem Nicks. I don't think Hakeem Nicks will be effective.
Really?
I was never a big Hakeem Nicks fan, and it just showed how he produced in New York. Injuries really were a problem his entire career, and I believe will continue to be.
Well, when Hakeem Nicks is healthy and on the field and wants to play, you look what it resulted in.
I mean, that's the thing. When he wants to play,
well, I mean,
you bring in a playmaker. He's playing every day. You can't have that if he decides to play one day and if he doesn't. I'm saying they need to bring in a playmaker who they know, as long as he's healthy, that this guy will play 17 games and give it his all 17 games, of course, bearing that he stays healthy.
Exactly. And, I mean, if he doesn't have enough incentive to play hard, Hakeem Nicks, because he considers himself a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL on an NFL team, and he hasn't been really paid like one. He's got a 1-year contract. The Giants didn't want him. They got rid of him. They didn't see him as a number 1 wide receiver. They really didn't want to deal with his shenanigans.
He's not a number 1 wide receiver. There's nothing in him that makes him a number 1 wide receiver.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think you might be a little too hard on him.
What does Hakeem Nicks have that makes him a number 1 wide receiver?
He catches. First of all,
he catches. So does everyone.
First of all,
hold on.
No.
You wait. You just told me that Hakeem Nicks catches. I'm pretty sure every single wide receiver in the NFL catches.
You let me finish, Joe.
All right, now you may finish.
He doesn't have the breakaway speed, like as far as a vertical receiver goes. You want to talk about number 1 receiver to you is what? Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and he is nowhere near that category.
I know that.
Even Des Bryant, nowhere near that.
No, Des Bryant to me is a top 3 wide receiver.
I'm just saying number 1 wide receivers in my mind. That's who I'm thinking.
Right, but Hakeem Nicks, when he's on the top of his game, he can break tackles. He's sure-handed. He's very sure-handed. But I meant to say, he can catch. I would hope he can catch if he's a wide receiver in the NFL. He's got those giant mittens who are very underestimated bailout quarterbacks. As he breaks tackles, he doesn't have breakaway speed, but he does have good speed. You don't want to build a wide receiving core around the team. Can you argue Victor Cruz helped him out a lot?
I would say Victor Cruz absolutely helped him out, and vice versa. They helped each other out. When Victor Cruz was a nobody and everyone knew who Hakeem Nicks was, it helped Victor Cruz develop, improve his game to become the wide receiver that he is now. Well, and I don't think I could be wrong with Victor Cruz, but I don't see. He's reached a level. I don't know if he has anything higher, but I think he's going to be consistent now.
Yeah.
I don't think he
I
reached.
think this is his peak.
Exactly, he reached his peak. Can he go higher? Maybe, but very unlikely. I think it's just steady now.
I'll tell you what, his peak is pretty good.
Oh, of course. He came from nothing, and he really showed that he's got what it takes to be an NFL wide receiver.
Right.
But at the same time, there's no way, no shot Hakeem Nicks can make a case for himself to be a number 1 wide receiver.
Recently, in the recent years, when you want to go with number one wide receivers, Joe, the recent Super Bowl winners, as far as wide receivers go, they really haven't had a number one wide receiver. As far as your Packers, my Giants, the Ravens.
Well, here's the thing.
The Niners. Well, the Niners didn't win.
Well,
the Seahawks. But they've had a group of wide receivers.
But the difference is here's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when we're talking about these teams that have just won. The Seahawks had a phenomenal defense. The Giants, that defense was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You got to admit, that defense is what led you there. It wasn't the offensive play.
Right, the pass rush. Well, the first time was the pass rush.
I mean,
it wasn't the offense. The second time, the offense, had a little bit to do with it.
The offense made some plays.
Victor Cruz had a lot to do with that.
Made some plays, but it was predominantly the defense.
Right.
Green Bay, there isn't a set number one, but it's a core group that you plug those guys in anywhere and they could be effective.
Well, who was the wide receivers in that Super Bowl team?
Nelson, James Jones,
right.
Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, Jermichael Finley.
Driver was still on that team?
Yes.
He was probably his last year, probably.
Yeah.
All right, but Donald Driver in his heyday was considered the number one wide receiver.
Yeah, but you compare.
But those are a group of guys. Hakeem Nicks can definitely help out the Colts with T.Y. Hilton. And who else is there? Who else is their other wide receiver?
Reggie Wayne, T.Y. Hilton.
Wow, how can I forget Reggie Wayne? I feel so terrible right now. Because I love Reggie Wayne too.
Kobe Fleener, if you want to bring in tight ends into the mix. Dennis Allen.
Yes. All right, so Wayne, Hilton, and Nicks.
Brazil, maybe? Is he still there?
Brazil's still there, yeah. Hayward Bay's gone.
Hayward Bay, yeah, he's gone.
But all right, so Reggie Wayne is there number one.
Of course, and until that guy leaves, he'll.
Yeah, but you know what? A collection of wide receivers can always help, and I think Hakeem Nicks is that type of guy to be a collection of wide receivers.
I just haven't seen enough from Hakeem Nicks to make that.
All right, so then that's the argument.
To say
we have a difference of opinion.
Agree to disagree.
All right, we
agree
have a
to
difference
disagree.
Of opinion. He's not a number one wide receiver in your eyes, and you're really not that much of a fan of him. But
you're gonna sit here and tell me that he's a number one wide receiver in your eyes?
I'm not. All right. Let me.
Because that's what you're pointing him. You're putting him on a pedestal right now.
When he was on the Giants, he was their number one wide receiver.
But did he deserve that title?
As far as
did he deserve that?
WR1, WR2, if you want to go underneath it.
All right.
Cruz was the slot receiver, and Nicks was the guy that you went to for the downfield play.
But does he deserve that title?
No.
Okay.
You're right.
What? Did you hear that? The franchise said I'm right. The franchise said it.
But I tell you what, you don't think he can really help out the Colts that much, do you?
You know what?
Enough to make the Giants worry when they play them.
I don't know. I need to see if he's actually going to be on the field because part of the problem is that the guy's never on the field.
Right.
So I can't tell you if he's going to be effective if he's not going to show up and put pads on and sit on the side.
You're right.
That's what it comes down to.
Let's go through a rundown of wins, losses for the Giants in that schedule.
Wins, losses?
Starting week 1 to the rest of the season.
I'm really the beginning of the season, I think they could easily start off 4-0.
And I'll keep a tally of this. Hold on for a second.
You're going to keep a tally? At Detroit, it's in Detroit, but it depends what Detroit does in the draft.
Not a fan of Detroit.
I'm not a fan either.
Not a fan of Matthew Stafford, to be totally honest.
He's a slinger. He loves to throw the ball out.
He's a slinger. If he gets an interception, he'll just come right back out.
Now, don't get me wrong. If somehow Detroit can pull it off and get into the top 3 of the draft to grab a...
Wait a minute. They're going to trade up?
There's been rumors. I'm saying if there's any possibility of Detroit picking up Sammy Watkins, that's dangerous. With a slinger as a quarterback.
Look at Cleveland thinking about drafting Watkins with Josh Gordon and Sammy Watkins.
That's also a great duo, but they don't have anyone throwing him the ball. Oh, yeah, Brian Hoyer.
You're right.
Yeah, right. We can't get into that draft area, otherwise we'll be here. Let's stay with the Giants over here.
Week 1.
Yeah, I think they're gonna win at Detroit.
Okay.
I think they'll win.
Next week 2.
Arizona and Houston, they'll win.
Win.
I say 4-0 at Washington.
Okay, 4-0.
First 4 weeks.
Week 5.
Week 5's Atlanta.
Win. You going with a loss?
I'm gonna say a loss at home against Atlanta.
All right, hold on for a second. All right.
I'm gonna say at Philly, you're gonna win.
I got a loss.
And you're gonna lose at Dallas.
All right, so.
You doing math over there? Everything all right?
I got right now going into the bye. I got the Giants at 6-1.
You have the Giants at 6-1.
Let me see right here. Do I have it right?
Only losing to Philadelphia.
6-1, only losing to Philly. I got them beating Dallas away.
I see them starting
5-2.
I see them starting
Well,
off
you said
4-0.
5-2.
4-0. Starting off 4-0.
You think they're losing to Atlanta?
Losing to Atlanta.
Really?
4-1. Going 5-1.
That would make me angry.
Going 5-2 into the bye, into week 8.
Winning at Philly, losing in Dallas.
Yeah.
I say losing
Or
in Philly.
regardless,
I said
one of those.
losing in Philly.
They're gonna lose one of those games. They were losing either at Philly or at Dallas.
Right. All
So
right. So
whatever-
I'm losing Philly. You're
I'm saying Dallas.
losing Dallas.
I'm
Whatever it is,
saying
it is.
5-2 at
The
the
difference
bye.
between me and you is the Atlantic. All right.
I'm saying 5-2 at the bye.
Okay. Different. The Giants have had success with the Atlanta Falcons and Matt Ryan.
I mean, listen. The only reason why I think they're gonna lose that game is there's no shot Atlanta is as bad as they were last year.
right.
There's no shot.
There's no way because they'll have Julio Jones and Roddy White back.
They'll have a healthier team. Hopefully, they got some type of running game going. I think they'll be able to.
But I think the Giants got the corners to cover those guys.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Who knows?
right.
What corner? Who's gonna be there?
Marty and Amukamara.
Yeah. All right. Well, who just got suspended?
Will Hill.
Will Hill.
Well,
Again.
they didn't get. It's not
Not
official
yet.
yet.
And he'll probably get cut.
If he does get suspended, he's probably
Probably gonna get cut. Shame. Could be.
He's a very good player too.
Could have been a
But
good
he's
part of
just
that team.
Very, very good player.
Coming out of the bye,
Indy
I'm saying they're losing all the next 3 games.
losing all 3.
Yeah, Indy, at Seattle, and San Fran.
Wait, they're at Indy.
They're home against Indy.
I'm gonna say
Monday night.
A win against Indy, and then a loss against Seattle, and a loss against San Fran.
I'm saying they're losing all 3.
Okay, so what do you
They're
got?
5-5.
5-5.
5-5. Going in. Is that right? 5
Yeah,
and
I
5.
got them at 7-2 and 7-3.
7-3.
No, wait a minute, 6-3.
5-5. 7-3. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, 7-3. You made me
Yeah,
second guess myself.
I said 5-5.
7-3. What do we got after?
Dallas
San
at
Fran?
home.
Dallas at home.
I'm saying 6-5.
I'm saying. I'm saying a loss.
At home against Dallas. Loss. All right. I respect that.
Dallas gets revenge.
All right.
They
Dallas.
don't win at each other's places.
Dallas gets a revenge. 6-5. The next 2 games at Jacksonville, at Tennessee, both wins.
Win-win.
I'm going 8-5. Washington at home, win. 9-5.
Win.
At St. Louis, win.
Win.
10-5. Philadelphia at home last week of the season, 11-5. They win. Silence.
I got the Giants at 12-4.
12-4. I don't know.
That's very unrealistic.
Listen, 11.
12-4. In my opinion, they're gonna go 11-5. It's a toss-up. For me, it's a toss-up with the divisional games.
That's what's going to make or break the season. If they could
games.
take the divisional games.
Right.
I have them sweeping the Redskins, and I think the other 2 are, take one, win one, lose one. I can't see him sweeping both.
To me, Dallas makes it so hard because you don't know what you're gonna get from them. And Philly, I think the Giants are better than Philly. To be totally honest with you, I just think they're better than Philly.
Yeah, I would say on the defensive end.
Right.
I would say on the
Offensively, they just have a better offense. Well, I don't know what your boy McAdoo is going to do.
Well, you would. That's tough to judge.
You don't know. Chip Kelly's already been in the league.
Yeah, it's different weapons,
Right.
different players, different. It's the same system.
Philly definitely
but
has a better offense than the Giants.
exactly.
As far as defense, no, they don't.
No, not a defense, but an offense, yeah.
So that's why it's going to be some pretty good games between the two.
Exactly. And like I said, week 5 to week 12, that's going to decide that fate. That
Right.
those 7 games.
Really,
Which-
where we differentiate each other is Atlanta in the divisional games.
Yeah, I mean, in those 7 games, they got to be able to win at least 4 of them. If they win 4 of them, the rest of their schedule outside of the division is kind of favorable. I mean, at Jacksonville, at Tennessee, at St. Louis, those 3 away games aren't really tough one.
Right.
Even Arizona at home, not that tough. Houston at home, not that tough.
Although Arizona is improving.
They are improving, but I don't see them being a challenge. Shouldn't be a challenge for this Giants team.
To me, Carson Palmer doesn't scare me. Neither does Andre Ellington.
Shouldn't be a challenge for the. So, like I said, outside of that 7-game stretch, which also includes their division, and that's those 7 games with the divisional opponents.
Hmm?
Their schedule isn't that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's
It really
not that
isn't.
bad.
The bye week is scaring me though. It really
Yeah,
is
well,
scary.
like that's
The 2 games before the
can't
bye
say
week.
enough.
The
That
2 games before the bye week and 3 after. Like you said, those 5 weeks are scaring me.
that stretch will make or break the Giants season.
Right.
And we've both seen the Giants excel when they needed the most against tough teams. So maybe that's a good thing.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe they'll struggle against Houston or at Jacksonville and at Tennessee, but dominate against the Colts. I don't know. But it could be a possibility.
Right.
It could be a possibility. But we'll be back. It's 7:50. The rest of the NFL schedule should be released shortly, so as we get updates, we
We're
will.
going to get to your Packers and the god-awful Jets.
Yeah, we'll hopefully get to them. But when we come back, we'll jump into the New York Knicks, who are enjoying vacation time as of right now. Like I said, continue to update you with the NFL
still
schedule.
making news, Joe. I'm still making news, Joe.
Still, despite how terrible they are, still making news. Stay tuned. We will be back.
Don't ever